Right, so my next favorite is Jennifer by Dario Argento. Dario Argento is a great director, I think, and I really think um, that it's a shining example of why Italian horror is better than Japanese horror or American horror, in my opinion. Not as far as novelizations, because then I would say, I suppose, American and British horror, Clive Barker, H.P. Lovecraft, Edgar Allan Poe. But as far as films go, no, Italy has it down. Grotesque, psychological, disgust you, and at the same time really horrify you. Jennifer is the story of Officer Frank Spivey, and he is a police officer, and we see him just sitting about eating his lunch with his partner, having Chinese food, and a fly's buzzing around, kind of gross. Um, but because of the fly, Spivey decides to take a step out of the car for some fresh air, and he sees a man dragging a woman towards the river holding a butcher's knife and yelling at her. And he's a police detective, so he's like, I better go and check this out. He goes over and the man's about to kill the girl. She's screaming and struggling, and to a detective it looks like the man's just mad. So he goes, tells the man to drop the weapon. Of course the man does not, says he doesn't know what she is, and he should just let it end here, but Spivey knows that the man's not going to drop the weapon now, and he shoots him. The man pulls him close in his last moments and whispers, Jennifer. Spivey goes to free the woman, presumably Jennifer, and is scratched in the process. She's a very beautiful woman. Again, itty-bitty titty committee, but rather pretty. Her hair is a bit ratty. Hair and breasts are an obsession of mine. I know my hair is not excellent, but you know. Anyway, she hugs him and he's assuring her he'll be okay. Then she looks up at him and have you ever seen a Mako shark? Google image search Mako shark right now. I'll wait. Look at the eyes. Yeah, this girl has eyes like a Mako shark. Anyway, Spivey files a report, takes her to the station, and he's told to go and speak to, counseling because he had killed the man, and it's his first kill ever. So, as he's leaving, we hear a lot of talk about how Jennifer is deformed, and admittedly, shark eyes don't make you deformed, a bit odd, but not deformed. However, we see as she looks back at him that her jaw cringes a bit, like this, and then there's sharp, misaligned teeth there, and we're never told if she was born this way, or it was a tragic accident, acid, anything like that. But she seems very taken with Spivey as she waves to him and looks back at him longingly. So he returns home to his wife and son, and he tells his wife he had to kill someone, and she's understandably shaken by this. And of course, Spivey begins to, that night, fantasize about Jennifer, leading to him, forcing anal sex on his wife. Again, this is the kind of human horror that Italian horror seems to have down pretty well. The descent into insanity, the monstrousness of humanity towards each other, grotesque, pretty much. But anyway, the next day, Spivey goes to see what happened to Jennifer, and as it turns out, she can't talk. They think she might be retarded, and they put her in an asylum. Spivey doesn't agree with this, and he goes to go and fetch her. Now, obviously, she's very attached to him, because as soon as he goes, she's immediately jumping into his arms. He takes her home, and lets her stay the night. This does not work out well, because when she goes and meets his wife, he finds she has a very peculiar case, as she bites his wife, and this sets the whole tone for the rest of the movie. Spivey trying harder and harder to cover the trail of Jennifer's bizarre taste. And of course he is quite taken with her, very seduced. In fact, the wife tells him to get rid of her after she bites her, and when Spivey goes to do that, Jennifer seduces him, and he is unable to get rid of her. I don't know, not being a man and everything, but if someone had misaligned shark teeth, bit a lot, and was probably a cannibal, if I was a man, I would not let her anywhere near my penis. But, whatever. I guess it's just his fetish, war fetish, right? Anyway, won't give away any more of what happens in the movie, but great film. Again, I know I've said this about every one that I liked, but ably performed. The actress playing Jennifer did a very good job. And you know what it's almost like? It's like a bizarro horror version of Nell. You know, finds a mentally different woman, takes her into society to help her, and it doesn't work too well. So, but all in all, great film. Good stage makeup. It is clearly not CGI, which I respect so much. I love horror makeup. As you know from the video where I was so sick and I couldn't be on camera, I worked at a haunted house I do every year about, and love horror makeup. So much respect for the people who do it. Such a difficult task, and so good. Just excellent. Real horror show work. Anyway, check it out. That one is definitely on Hulu and also on Netflix. Ever heard of Tony Todd? If you're watching my show, you probably love horror movies, and you've probably heard of him. Wonderful actor. I love him. I have such a crush on him. Oh my god, Tony Todd. His voice, his appearance. He was actually in the aforementioned Candyman. He was the titular character. And, he was also in the remake of Night of the Living Dead. He was Ben. And then he was also in a couple of Final Destinations, and he was in Valerie on the Stairs, which is the Masters of Horror episode that is third on my list. So, this episode is about writers, struggling writers in a boarding house for struggling writers. And basically a young man moves into the boarding house, following the suicide of a previous boarder. And as he moves in, he hears banging on the walls and goes to check it out. There's a girl on the stairs, and she is in peril. She is yelling for help. And he goes to try and help her, and obviously the noise wakes up the other boarders. They're not too happy. Christopher Lloyd is in this. Christopher Lloyd plays one of the writers. Pretty fantastic, Tony Todd and Christopher Lloyd. But anyway, he meets with a few of the writers. One, brash southern lady, very sexually driven, seems to write romance novels, goddess rivers, as she says. And, Christopher Lloyd, he appears to write, campy horror stuff. You find out later he wrote a movie, about a beast or something. And then he meets another writer who is a, Marquis de Sade, disciple, writes, erotic torture fiction, that kind of stuff. And as he's writing his own work and met all these other writers, it becomes increasingly obvious that there's something about them. It turns out they're all three writing a book together, and it somehow connects to this woman Valerie and the Beast, played by Tony Todd. Oh my god, this probably led to my huge demonic fetish here, because I had a crush on Tony Todd to begin with, and then to see him as a demon, oh my god. No. Oh my god, so good. Anyway, The acting in this one can be a little bit campy, I'll admit, but it is Christopher Lloyd. Good actor, very campy though. Tony Todd, of course, is excellent. The girl who plays Valerie reminds me a little of Julia Stiles in the latest season of Dexter. Which I like, I enjoyed Lumen. So, Valerie is a good character in my opinion. Uh, the Southern chick, okay actress, nothing phenomenal, but nothing awful either. The other actors are decent, but again they come off the male lead and also the the sadist. They come off a bit like they should belong in a college movie, rather, I suppose. But you know, still good episode, well written. Um, Tony Todd is in it, which probably is why it made it up so far when actually the better writing really was Hagel's Tale and Jennifer, but this one had Tony Todd in it, so a bit of a skewed perception there because I like him. And no big names in the other two really. Um, but that aside, it's my opinion. You have to listen to it because you clicked on my video. On to the next one. My number one pick for best episode of Masters of Horror. And you may not agree with me, but again, my show, my opinion.